Welcome to part 3 of this Corvette C5 restoration series. What have we done so far? Let's do a quick recap. Let's roll the intro and I'll tell you what we've done so far. Go. Well, welcome to another video from Auto Garage Life, and we're getting very close to perhaps starting a video with this car when it's out of the garage, instead of being in here getting work done to it. But I suppose that's why you're here, to see all the work getting done to this car. So what we're going to do today we're going to be replacing the front discs and pads, both sides obviously, and the rear discs and pads. And I've got the jack ready just to do this per corner. I did have the car jacked up in all four jack stands for the oil change, but it was half out the garage, so weather's not too good today. Got it in here, we'll do it this way. Also, had the car hooked up to my little C-Tech battery charger. I've got a video on one of these if you want to see how to use one and how to deal with it. So I've got a AGM setting on this one that's up at 7, so it's at full charge. So this should be fully charged, ready to go. I have had it sitting for, I want to say, 4 or 5 days. It did drop a little bit. It did drop from about 12.4 to about 12.2 in terms of voltage, which isn't too bad. If you were starting the car every other day or put it on a trickle charger, you could probably live with that. I believe the car was draining the battery quite severely beforehand, so perhaps some of the work we've done already has been a help. But I want to try and get this passenger window working, and irritatingly, the key fob doesn't work. So let's try that first and get this key fob syncing, because at the moment it does absolutely nothing. So let's try and get this working again. Alright, so I've put a new battery in this fob just in case the old one was dead, but because the car has been sitting dead for so long, I'm assuming the fob's lost its programming. So let's try the simplest option first. So key in the ignition, turn it to the on position, and in fact, I'll get rid of the bong here, hold on. There we go. Press the options button until that goes to blank. Right, then I hold down reset, I'm over here. Hold down reset. Fob training. Press reset again. Hold lock and unlock on the first fob. So you need 2 hands to do this, 2 seconds. So what I'm doing is holding the 2 buttons down here, the lock and the unlock, both simultaneously. And I believe it takes about 10 seconds, but in my case it doesn't seem to be doing anything whatsoever. And I do have a full battery charge here, so let's just count down for 10. Yeah, that's 12 seconds now, nothing's happened. Well, clearly we've got a bigger problem because that didn't work. So I've changed the battery in this fob again just to make sure it wasn't the battery, but I'll have to go back to the drawing board on this one, perhaps get a new key fob and try the training again once we've got another key fob. I've only got 1 set of keys with the car, so I can't try the other one. So anyway, it still works for the lock, so we'll have to persevere with that just now and move on to another problem, which is this passenger window. So it doesn't operate. However, in the video before, I did clean out the grounds and the kind of accordion clip which is in between the door and the main body of the car, and the locks start working, which means there's power getting to the door. I'm going to try the actual window switch on the driver's side. Listen to this. You can hear that? So there is power getting to the switch, and it's the same with this switch here. If I try it, you'll hear it. Right? So there's power getting to the door, that's not the problem. The problem is that probably the points in the motor, or the motor needs a little jump start in some shape or form. So let's try that first before we go stripping the door down. We've tried banging on the door card with a screwdriver, a little trick that's underneath the point here. Doesn't work. But it looks as if someone's been at this door before, because there's a bolt missing from behind the passenger door handle here. So we'll just show you that in a second. We're going to have to remove the door card, then try again. So let's try that. Right, so before you mess with the window and take out any electricals, you're better off disconnecting the battery and the negative, just like this. Be 10mm, be sparky, and then off we go. Stick it round to the side just in case it sparks, and just stick it round there. There we are. Right, so what we've done is we've removed the little panel here, which is already broken, and I don't know if you can see here, try and get underneath. There's actually a bolt on the left, but there's not one on the right. You see that? Which suggests someone's been in here before trying something. So who knows what they've tried, but we'll give it a shot now. Right, so to get the door card off, you need to take off a T25 Torx bit and slide it in here and remove 2 screws it's supposed to be, and mine's only got 1. I'll show you this one when it comes out. They're quite chunky, so see it coming out? There we are. I can just remove that. Right, so there should be 2 of them holding your door card on, so remove them first. Right, so you take these out first, and it'll just be a 1 single connector like that, so you can just remove it. Okay, just put that somewhere safe. And, this could be the problem, maybe. I doubt it though, but it could be. Someone's been at this before and tried and taken this out and obviously broken it, so we could have an issue there. However, the button still worked, so I doubt that is the problem, but might get away with using that again. If not, we'll have to buy a new one. Anyway, put it aside for just now. So to remove the door card, just use these type of trim tools, pop, 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 pop all around, and it lifts up off the top. Okay, let's go for that. There we go. Right, and you can just pop this piece off as well in advance. Sometimes it'll just pop off by itself. Pop. Right, I'll just continue on unpopping this panel. The panel's all loose, see that? And it goes up the way. You have to struggle and jimmy it around. There we go. And there's the panel come off. Right, so see these little clips here? That's what's essentially holding it in. And as you'll probably find, either some will be broken or you'll break some taking it off. I didn't, because there's no remnants on the ground of any breakages, but it looks as if this panel was a little bit loose beforehand and this clip here has been broken, but no big deal, they're easy to replace. Right, so we're going to remove this speaker and see if we can see if the motor's okay here and see if there's any obvious things we can do. So it's a 7mm socket set, and there's about 4 bolts holding this speaker on. Let's get them off. Just when an electric ratchet would come in handy. And there, one down here. Right, so there's 6 bolts holding this on, and it just eases out like that, and off it comes as 1 single unit. Just disconnect the electrical connector there. So that should leave you access in here to the motor. Right, so when you've got this apart, you can now get access to this motor. And in this case, the passenger window doesn't go up and down every day. It goes up and down very infrequently, especially if the car's been sitting still for so long it's not went at all. So a couple of little love taps on that part of the motor there when you're trying the button might just be enough to kick it back into life. So let's just try that. As long as you know where to hit something properly, things tend to fall into place. Let's give it a shot here. Little motor's here, right? And let's try it now. Go. Oh, there we go. Well, hey, we have power to the window. Ha-ha! Right, so there we go. What's that old saying? $1 for the use of the hammer, $999 for knowing where to hit it. There we go. So little love tap on that, because these windows don't get used that often anyway, and this is quite a common problem. I'm glad it wasn't this though. If it had been this, that would have been a different story, because there's 4 relays in here, 2 for the locks and 2 for the windows, and if they need to go, you need to start popping them out and resoldering. But this is a good unit, and it's working. The locks work, the windows now work, and it was just the motor had seized. So that's excellent. That's a really good job done. I'm pleased with that, because it means you don't have to pay any money and take out the window regulator. Now, okay, it wasn't sounding the greatest going down. It maybe will need some exercise, and the window regulator might need replaced in future, but at least just now we know there's no major electrical faults here. Cleaning the grounds in there was a step that I probably didn't have to do, but I did it anyway. And you know, there's nothing major electrical going on here that's causing that. It was simply the motor that was seized. Excellent, that's a freebie. Let's get the door back together and watch the window go up and down in all its glory one more time. There we are. Fixed for nothing. Right, so while we've got the door card off, I'm going to just give this a very light spray in a rust reformer, because I've cleaned this speaker grill as much as I can, and it's left some rusty bits behind that I just cannot get off for the life of me. So just masked it off, and we're just going to give it a little blast to the rust reformer. Not too much, just a little tiny bit. It's not going to damage anything, nothing sitting behind it or anything like that. So let's try that. Right, this is a good opportunity when you've got the door card off and the windows all the way down to give your disgusting rubber seal there a quick clean with some multi-purpose cleaner. I'll just go along the whole thing and get off the green gunkiness, which we don't like to see. See, this is why jobs take me longer. I cannot help it. I've got to clean everything. Because if you don't, you put stuff back together, you'll never do it again. And it'll just remain gunky forevermore. So, I'm going to actually miss a little trim clip here as well. Hold on. Okay, time to put the door cards back on. So, take this switch off. Bonk. And I'll just reinstall the door card top in first and punch in the bottom clips. I'm going to have to buy some more clips though, because there is a few that have broken. So we'll put it back on for now, and I'll reorder some new clips in the future. Check out the speaker now, no rust. I did try cleaning it as best I could before I did that, but no rust on it at all. Right, this comes through there. Into the door card, you put it on from the top, and there's kind of 3 metal clips that fit into slots in the door. You can't really go wrong, you can see where it goes, no problem. Just remember to pull out the cable for the windows and the lock. I'll just reattach that now. That's good. And then we'll just put in the Torx bits that go into there. It won't be morons and just put one back in and find another bolt that fits and put that one back in as well. So that's what we do around here. There we are. So I reckon someone's had this door panel off before, lost one of these screws, tried to take that out the wrong way, and tried to troubleshoot this window. Possibly with the option of replacing the regulator, but it might get there at some point. But for just now, we are good. Right, let's get a star Phillips head for this one. There we are. Door card back in place, speaker looking lovely. Looking very nice there. I'm just going to get in the car and make the window up and down, because that's what I want to do. Alrighty, moment of truth. Well, not really. We know it works, don't we? Ooh, yeah! Automatic down. Sounds a bit rough though, but it's probably not had its legs exercised for quite some time. And we'll just try this one as we reach over. Lovely! That, my friend, is what we call a job well done. This one goes up as well. Superb. Locks, locks. Good. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's everything electrical in this car working with the exception of the key fob. Got all the lights working, the pop-up headlights work no problem, all the indicators and whatnot work. Electric seats are all working. Let's let me just check. Hold on. Oh yeah! Passenger seat works. Passenger window works. I think we're good. I think that is us. Everything electrical works, and I'm just going to try and show you. Look how horrific this roof is from the inside. I haven't shown you this yet. It is pretty bad. It needs a good polish. It needs some wet sanding. So we'll be doing that in the next video. And for the rest of this video, I'll be ploughing on with the brakes. But I think that's a good victory for today. And we'll chalk that one up as a win. So, okay, let's crack on then. There we are. Look at that mileage. 15,336. Incredible. Zoom out here. Car is starting to feel good now. Starting to get there. Needs some mats. Needs some new mats. And might have a surprise for the interior. Maybe. We'll see. Don't know what I'll do yet, but maybe there's a little surprise for the interior. But we are getting there. It's getting exciting. Listen to it rumble. Can you hear it? Right, so I've actually done the other two brakes already on the other side, so we'll start here with the front brakes and we'll just replace them with new discs and pads. So first thing I'm doing is just jacking up the vehicle, and I'm going to be using these little jack pucks that I bought, if I can find them. There we are. So put one of these underneath the car, twist it, and it'll lock into place, and we'll just jack it up using that. And don't worry, I'll put a jack stand on the cross member as well. So unless I feel particularly daring today, as I might not do that, we'll see. Only joking, of course. Safety first. Just underneath where the door joins the front. Let me just jack that car up. Make sure and take off and loosen up the nuts, break them loose. These are just the covers. I might end up replacing, because I'm not really keen on these kind of dull faded grey colour. Yeah, now you can jack it up the rest of the way and get the wheel off. Right, so there we go, get jack stand sitting on one of half the cross member, and I've still got the jack there just in case. That should be good just to work on this brake. And as you can see, we're looking pretty crusty back here, but it is just surface rust, not on the discs. The discs are gone, but the rest of it, and all this white stuff here, is basically sand. that's come up on, rested on this, corroding it. But we'll clean this up as best we can, and we'll get this discs and pads replaced. Even the bracket there is looking a bit worse for wear, but still functional, still okay, so let's go for that. Alright, so let's crack on with this. So we have 4 bolts to remove. 2 are on the caliper themselves and 2 are on the bracket, so give them a little squirty. One is a biggie, 21mm, and one is a smaller 15mm. We also need a 16mm spanner to stop the nut from spinning. I'll show you that in a minute. I should have done this before I put WD on, but I'll just put some matting down to save my floor from getting covered in brake fragments. So these are vented discs, and you replace them, the vents lean towards the back of the car, so that heat, when the brakes are running, flings out of it and it's circulating the right way. 15mm socket. Let's wait a few minutes for that penetrating fluid to set in. Okay, ready to go. So there's 15mm socket. There we go, that's that one loose. That's that one broken loose as well. It's a good idea when you're doing these, don't take one bolt out completely. Break them both loose first so that you've got the tension of that one helping you to break the bottom one down. That's more important when you're taking off this, because this is quite a toughie. There we go, that's fine. We got lucky with that one. That one came out pretty easily. Here's a top tip when you're working in something like this. Get one of these little trays and put everything, all the wee bolts you're using into it, because things go missing very easily. Right, for the bottom one, I'll probably need to put the 16mm in because it's spinning quite heavily, so there. 2. If you do find these start to spin, get your spanner, put it right on there, on that part of the bolt. I'll show you. Get that right in there, and you can get your ratchet back there and start spinning the bolt off. That's all you need to do, just hold that bit steady. The caliper will just make its way free. And then you can just sit it. Oh my goodness, we've got lots of fluff and stuff in here. Great place in the Corvettes to sit it, which is right back here. And then this is the big boys. So there's 2 21mm bolts back here that you need to give some oomph to. When I say oomph, I mean breaker bar oomph. Because these are pretty tight. These bolts back here that hold the caliper bracket on are 21mm, and they are pretty stuck on there. So we need to get some leverage onto it with a breaker bar, or if you've got a more powerful impact gun, it might do it. That should make that go. There we go. Sometimes you struggle for space without a lift, but you'll get there in the end. There we go, that's that broken loose. And then you break the other one loose before you remove that one fully. A lot of oomph in this one. There we go. Broken loose, thankfully. Now you can get in there with the ratchet. There we are, so there's 2 of these 21mm, and as you can see, there's been some Loctite on them, which is maybe a reason why they're so difficult to get off, but you get there. There we are, and these are just, oh, they slide right off. Pads come off as well. Actually quite a lot of meat left in these, but nah, not going on the car. And this, oh yes, that was an easy one. Just slides right off. Right, let's get the place cleaned up. And we'll go at it with the wire brush. Just make sure everything's a bit more presentable. See all this sand coming off now. And we'll give this bracket a little clean up as well. Right, we're never going to get that looking perfect, so what I think I'll do in the future is we'll spray these and the calipers as well, but just for now, we light brush up with a wire brush, some brake cleaner on it, and that'll have to do it for just now, because we need to get this MOT'd within the next week or so. New clean pair of gloves, new brake disc, a bit of brake cleaner on the back side, and the vanes go that way, as if they're pointing towards the back of the car. And what I like to do here is grab one of the lug nuts and just put it on, just to hold it in place. It makes putting the bracket on that little bit easier, plus you can give it a squishy with brake cleaner. Like that. Right, let's get this back on now, and just before you put it on, you can check your guide pins. Bounce back nice and smoothly. These ones are absolutely fine. And this, ugly as it is, going to have to go back on as it sits just now, because I don't have the time to sit here and respray it and wait. So we've got our inspection to shoot for. So let's put this back on. And oh, I'm almost in tears putting it back on like this. Anyway, come on, let's just do it. Get your big chunky 21 mils. Okay, so you put the brake pad with the guide pin at the back. Well, I always do anyway. And I give them a little bit of copper grease at the point so they're touching the caliper bracket here and here, a wee bit here, and a wee bit in the back as well. Just slot that one in. Yeah. Put the grease on the back in a minute. Same with the front pad. Little bit of grease. There we go. Then we'll just grease up the front of them, just where the pistons are touching. I know I could use different grease, but this is what I've got, so this will do just now. Now, I have drained some brake fluid out of the reservoir, so when you push the calipers back in, it doesn't squirt out and there's enough room for it to squish back up, so I have done that in advance. So I use a G-clamp, get the old brake pad, stick it on the caliper, force that sucker back in there. In this case, it's two suckers, two pistons. You just get them back in. You can usually use a G-clamp to clamp round the back. There's always some work. Clamp the G-clamp round it, let it sit at the back, rest it against the caliper and squish those guys in there. Right, and don't worry about me putting the caliper on the ground or the floor. There's no stress on the brake line whatsoever, so we're okay with that. Right. Oh yes, first time. And you just grab your little caliper bolts, feed the top one in. There we are. That says we're good. Bottom one. Can't remember the torque setting for these, but I'll put it on the video. I'll superimpose it over the video. But yeah, essentially that's us. We're back together. A little tighten up and we're good to go. And I need another can of brake cleaner. If you struggle to get a torque wrench back there, just use your impact gun at the full setting, that should be enough. Because they are pretty tight. And they were pretty tight, I should say. There we go. Right, and there we go. Looking much fresher in here overall. What I'll do is I'll probably, when I detail the car again, I'll give this a thorough wash down and scrub with the brushes and all that before we take it for its MOT. But for now, road legal. Oops, whoopsie. Better not forget that. Whoops. Right, let's get the wheel back on and that's it, job done. Right, that's us. One new brake disc installed. Yeah, that's us. That's looking much cleaner behind there now. Just the back ones to do, and that's it. Back one's basically exactly the same as the front, just don't leave your parking brake on when you're trying to take the disc off. Okay, let's go and do that. Alright, so I'll show you on the back caliper here what I meant by the spinning, because that front caliper didn't really show it very well. So, as you're turning and trying to loosen the caliper bolts, you'll see that nut there just continuing to spin. So you need to grab your 16mm, or in the back case it's actually a 17. Put it in there, and then continue to turn the nut whilst holding on to that spanner. And that way, you'll get the nut off. And that's the same for the front, so there we go. Funny how it's 17 in the back and 16 in the front, but hey ho. So let's get this back one stripped down, and that's all four corners taken care of. Good. New shoes just went on the car. That's it. New tyres on all four corners. Just been installed. If you're looking for tyres in the area, go to Lewis Urban, come to your house and fit them on the spot. So that's us. Let's go and see the new tyres. Alright, so that's 4 brake discs fitted, 4 new sets of pads fitted, and 4 brand new tyres. I'm just went with the Falcons this time because I couldn't get any Michelins or anything like that, but these are pretty good. I've had these before in other cars and they're decent. So went for 4 Falcons all round. I need to tidy up here. So I just fitted the last brake disc there. We do have a small leak from the tyre valve on that side, which I'll need to address. Either get a new valve fitted or something, but a new tyre sensor valve, I mean. And we'll have to see how it goes. But it's tiny. It's like a slow puncture. So it's not something I'm going to look at immediately. So now what I'm going to do is make sure the torque settings are all okay here. I'm going to pump the brakes a few times, drive the car back and forward a wee bit, check the oil levels, check the coolant levels, check the belt, check everything just visually before we have a first little drive of this in a private road, of course. And then if that goes okay, there's no big clunky noises, there's no unusual things. If it shifts okay, that's one of the main things. We'll then get it booked in for its MOT, which is going to be really exciting because that means we can then legally drive it on the roads here in the UK. So what's coming up? Cosmetic, still got the roof to do. So I've got a full detail and full ceramic coating or sealant or something to do that. Still got to wash all the wheel wells like I said earlier. We'll do the engine bay once more in a quick detail, and we'll hook up the radio again and disconnect the CD player in the background. And what I'm going to do as well is double check the battery drain. It's been fine for me. Every 4 days or so, 3 or 4 days, I'm coming out and starting it or charging it on a C-Tex. That's absolutely fine. I want to source out this battery drain and just see if there is an obvious culprit for it. Anyway, good video. Good work done in this video today, and we'll catch you in the next one. Hit like, hit subscribe, comment below if you're a C5 guy. Or anything else I maybe should look out for, and maybe a little surprise for the interior. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.